It's Friday, man.
It's Friday. About time.
It's Friday. It's about damn. So I got a little something special for you today.
Cool.
You got me intrigued after pouring me the Portwood, the Dalmore Portwood,
Yep.
blind. I know this is one of your favorites.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Desserty.
I like all the Dalmores, to be honest.
You are a Dalmore fan.
Yeah.
I actually am a big fan of the Dalmore. My only knock on Dalmore is they do put an additive in here for the coloring. And
To make it darker than
it
should be.
is. Yeah. And I don't think anybody really needs to do that.
No.
I know they do it from a marketing perspective or from a presentation on a shelf. There's plenty of really good whiskey that's light in color.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's really important, but they do it.
But then once they started doing it, it's hard to back away, though, right?
Correct. You can't change the tone.
Right.
So you're right.
People are looking for a certain color at this point.
I don't personally. There's a lot of whiskey nerds out there that will not drink this because of that.
Really?
Yeah. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Is the juice good?
Yeah, so one of the very first things we probably got introduced to that, I was like, ooh, this is really good.
Yeah.
So it has like that place in my heart for me, one of the original kind of things that was in rotation.
I would agree that the Dalmore line in general, the 12-year, the 14-year.
Well, there was a lot less of them too when we started.
Yes.
They've added stuff in the last few years.
Yeah, different finishing,
Yep.
sherry casks and things of that nature. So the Portwood, so this one here, you tried to get me on the other day.
Yeah.
This is finished in Portuguese wine barrels.
Yep.
And that generally lends to a richer, dessertier, fulfilling, full body
Yes.
flavor profile. So I'm going to pour you a little bit of this. Not too much, because I want to bring in something special.
Okay.
I want to bring in something that has been in this cave.
Well, that's what Friday nights are for.
That's been in this cave for a while, and I've had a lot of people come in here, and they point at this thing on the glass shelf, and they go, ooh, I want to try that. And I just simply go, ooh, not tonight, you're not.
All right.
So, but tonight,
We're going to open it.
we're going to do it.
All right.
It's actually open. I cheated. I've already had some. I know you haven't, but,
All right.
you know. So, but let's get a little sample of this, because I want to start your taste buds off with this a little bit. So just a little bit here. So this is a non-age stated. We do believe, or at least I believe, that most of this is probably over 12 years old. Generally, when they don't age a statement, means there's probably like 8-year-old whiskey in there, at least from a Scotch perspective. There's 8-year-old whiskey in there, and the laws behind stating how old a whiskey is means if you even have a drop of, say, 5-year-old whiskey in a bottle, then it's 5-year-old whiskey.
It's the mint.
You can have 98% 30-year-old whiskey, but if you have a drop of 5-year-old whiskey, it's 5-year-old whiskey. So a lot of times when these distillers, they do special either finishes or special releases, a lot of times it's not age stated because they have a lot of old whiskey in it.
But they got one young one in there.
They got some young stuff in there too. So they just don't put any age bracket on at all. So we're stuck either to rely on the internet or our taste buds.
Sure.
Right? And our taste buds tend to compare, especially when you can compare this to other Dalmores. Mm-hmm. That's why I would say this is probably mostly 12-year or better whiskey.
All right, cheers.
Dark berry, dark fig.
Yep.
As expected. I'm Super desserty.
Yeah, rich, sweet.
Rich. Yep.
A little raisin.
Definitely the raisin. All right. Why? It is one of my favorites.
I really like it. Yeah. Like a sucker for port finish.
So let's try and upgrade this. Can we do that?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right.
Where am I going?
I'll put this over here.
Yep.
You grab that right there, sitting right there.
Okay. Yep. That's it. Ooh, fancy box.
Oh, it's a fancy box. You pay for a fancy box. You do know that, right?
And some clean glasses.
Nice, nice, nice. This here, also not age stated, for the record.
Oh, interesting.
This is the Dalmore King Alexander. This is a pretty, for the Dalmore fans, this is a pinnacle kind of.
Yep. A rare find kind of thing.
A rare find. You can find it if you're looking for it.
Yep.
It's not on every shelf, but if you wanted it, it's achievable.
Yep.
At a price.
I don't think I've ever seen it in the store.
You've probably never seen this in New Hampshire. They might have had it in New Hampshire. New Hampshire does stock a good fair amount of Dalmore products.
They do, but I just hadn't seen this one in any of those stores I've been in.
Quite honestly, I don't know where I've gotten this. I've had this for a while. I could have got this in anywhere.
Sure.
Mass, New Hampshire, Virginia, anywhere in my travels. Connecticut, Rhode Island.
You have a large web of places that you frequent.
I do. I got my honey pots, okay? So I'm going to pull this out right here. You can take at least a gander of that. So here's what's cool about this bottle. So most scotches particularly, they're generally finished in a particular wine barrel.
Yep.
So it's aged in 12 years and repurposed American bourbon barrels. Typically, that's where they're cooking it, right?
Yep.
And then when it's done cooking, they take it and they put it in another barrel to give it a different flavor note. And most scotches go through a one finish phase of a Oloroso sherry or a portwood as the other example. It's rare that you get more than one, although it's not uncommon.
It's not uncommon. We got some. Yeah. And then it's also not clear for me, like when they say that, how long is it in each barrel? So they don't tell you that part.
You don't. Again, you're going to have to rely on what little internet data you can get or your taste buds. Mm-hmm. If it's rich and deep and sherry, then maybe it hung around a little bit longer.
Yep.
The other thing you got to consider is contact time. You know, the size of the barrel, how saturated it was. And another trick to this is sometimes when they want to finish something and say a port barrel, does it have any residue of the old port wine sitting on the bottom of that barrel?
Yep.
Or are we just soaking from the wood? So a lot of things we're not privy to this.
I did learn something this week as I was doing some research. With some bottles say first fill on it.
Yes.
And that means that's the first time Scotch has been in that bourbon barrel typically.
Okay.
Because they'll use that bourbon barrel over and over again.
Yes.
Every subsequent time, it doesn't have the same kind of richness. So if something says it's first fill, it's probably going to have a little bit more of that bourbon sweetness to it.
Yeah, yeah. And that can be sought after.
Sure. And it's probably, I've never heard them say that for like port or sherry, but I've got to imagine it's similar. Like the very first time you use it, sherry.
It's a fascinating thing. Unlike the regulatory restrictions of what is a bourbon, in Scotland, there's a lot of free reign. It generally just has to be made in Scotland. There's some other factors. But
it's malt.
But you can finish it and finish it and finish it and experiment and experiment and experiment. And in Scotland, it's expected and enjoyed. In the States, it's been faux pas for years.
Sure. No, that's the more wine finish, more port and sherry finishes you get, the more I'm probably going to like it.
I am going to challenge that thought. Because this, my friend, is finished in not one, not two, 6 different barrels.
So that's actually another question I have. Does that mean that 1/6 of it is finished in one barrel, and 1/6 of it is finished in a different barrel, and 1/6 of it is finished in a different barrel, or is like the entire batch finished for a year in this barrel, then it's poured into this barrel for a year, and then it's poured into this barrel for a year?
That is a phenomenal question. And these are questions.
I'll do a little research next.
See what you can find out. These are the questions that we're generally not that privy to.
Sure. They don't give us the rest. They don't give us.
They don't
give
you the recipe, the secret sauce, right? If I had my guess, which I don't know how solidified I'd be in my guess, I like your original theory.
Yeah, I think half it's in this barrel, half in this barrel, and they pour them together when they want to bottle it.
They're going to take what's cooked. They're going to take the finished bird, for lack of better terms.
Yep.
They're going to take a little bit of it and finish it in here, finish it in here, finish it in here, finish it, and then they'll bring all 6 together.
Yep. And then they'll bottle that.
And then they'll sample that, they bottle that, and they ship it. So let's see what this thing's finished in.
All right. Want me to put this to the side? Or, you're reading?
I'm going to read it because there's a little bit here. So 6 finishes. Small batch bourbon casks. Madeira casks. So Madeira is a Portugal wine. Marsala cask, which is an Italian wine. Port pipes, which is going back to Portugal again. Mm-hmm. Cabernet Sauvignon. We all know that wine.
Yeah. The French.
And what's fascinating, I actually had to do a small little homework on, and I'm probably going to butcher pronunciation. Matusalem Oloroso Sherry. So that has 2 different variations of Spanish wine in it. It's 75% and 25% PX. But here's the fascinating thing to that. In order to be called that, you have to be aged for 30 years.
That's a long time.
So, not that this was aged 30 years.
But some of it was.
But no, one of the barrels they chose to finish in had product in it that was 30 years old.
It had aged the sherry for 30
Yes.
years, and then they put... That's interesting.
Yes. So, now if you want to say that's only 1/6 of 1/6 of 1/6 of 1/6 1/6 of the original bird that was cooked, we got quite the recipe going on here. But let's try it.
Yeah, definitely.
Because this is, what do you think when you hear all that?
I'm a little bit scared.
Okay.
That there's just
too much
going on. Yeah. But my anticipation would be that it's going to be quite rich.
I would expect. So I have had this, but it's been a long time since I've had this because I bought it and I was impatient. I mean, you spend $400 on a bottle.
Sure,
you at least
you want to open it.
You want to try the damn thing, right? But it's been long enough that I don't really have I got a little recall, but not a whole lot of recall. I do recall very fruit forward, very everything you like about Dalmore.
Sure.
A
little darker, but the colors are pretty similar.
Oh, it looks a lot darker.
Oh, there's a lot less in the other glass.
There's a lot less in the glass. Well, I gave you a good pour. That's okay. Let's give it a nose.
Oh, that's a lot richer.
Oh, I'm getting more funk out of this.
Yes.
It is richer. But
yes, but the profile is just on my nose is a lot stronger.
I'm getting a Campbelltown funk out of this, which it's a good thing for me.
This gives me a lot. The nose is reminding me a lot of the Bunnahabhain 26.
Yes. That funky leather scent.
Yes, but it's like dried fruit, maybe.
Yep. But again, I go back to that riverbank scent that you get on some of the Campbelltown whiskeys or even like Isla whiskeys, and I'm getting more of that that dead water.
Yeah, I'm not really quite getting that.
Getting really ripe fig.
Yeah, like I'm getting like almost. Sorry, don't take this the wrong way, but more like rotted on the vine.
Yes.
Or fermented on the vine.
Yes, fermented. That's exactly what it is.
Like the fruit's been out too long and it's already starting to ferment on the on the tree. And the dankness goes away after a few smells.
Derrick, you've just blown my mind. I've had the luxury to be in the dungeons of some wine production. And this is what this smells like.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, where they're literally producing, distilling, making the wine.
Yep.
And it just has this. So no different than where they're making beer.
Sure.
And that just scent fills and permeates everywhere.
Yep. Just hops everywhere.
What you're smelling right now is wine.
That crushed grape juice, crushed grapes.
Yes.
Are you ready? Salud.
thick, velvety.
Yeah, this definitely got some serious age to it.
Yes.
It's
This
very
is
refined.
Very refined. This is not youthful at all.
Silky smooth.
This is actually an example where the youngest stuff could be worthy of its own age statement, but it's its price point.
Sure.
They still want to state it higher. Very rich fruit forward. Nice quality palate. It just hangs out.
There are so many things going on the palate.
Yeah.
But they all work really well together. And they're sweet but not sugary.
You getting? I'm either gonna blow you up or blow me up. You getting a little fruit roll up? You remember fruit roll ups?
I do remember fruit roll-ups.
Remember the darker fruit roll up?
That maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes these things bring you back to your childhood.
Sure.
Somewhere.
We didn't talk about it, but what was the proof on this?
Oh, I have no idea. You fair to guess? I honestly couldn't tell you.
I mean, I'm guessing it's going to be like 86, but it tastes like it's almost nothing.
It's almost nothing. Yeah. It has to be at least 80.
Yep.
We know that.
Yeah, but I don't like it.
And I would not say this is over
It's so
86.
so smooth. There could be nothing. I'm like,
Yeah, it tastes like 50. But they do have to put it on a bottle, so let's see what our survey says. If I can learn how to open the damn thing. Well, this is great for video. It's 80.
it's 80.
80 proof. Yep.
That is really rare, actually.
For Scotch, it
For
is.
Scotch,
Yes. So let's criticize that for a moment. I mean, we're sitting here, we're enjoying it. It's good. It is easy, but they could have amped that volume up just by a few percentage points in proof.
Well, they had to water it down to get it to 80. Would be my
They
guess.
had to water it down to get it to 80,
Right.
which now you can say, well, you're watering down the product, you're trying to milk the profits, right? That's a criticism there.
Maybe they may have just said that with at 80 it brings out a more balanced flavor profile, right? Maybe at 86 a couple of flavor of the profiles were stronger.
So I have more of a different, or maybe it's a different theory. From a marketing perspective, there's a $400 bottle. There's a select audience that's buying this, right? Whiskey geeks like ourselves that just want to try it, or people that can afford to drink this on a regular and they just kind of want to impress.
That's a whole different.
They just want to impress somebody.
Sure.
It's a sexy box. It's a sexy bottle, and it's a really easy drink. So now you have a somebody that can afford it, wants to show it off, but wants to be able to drink it, because a whiskey nerd like you and I might want something more proofy.
Sure, this is definitely like for me after dinner drink.
Oh yeah,
End the meal, perfect end of the meal.
this is a perfect end of the meal. Yeah, finish this off after your steak.
Sweet and smooth. Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Pair this with your creme brulee.
Yeah. So go back real quick to the portwood. You raved about this portwood.
And it's still good. But it's kind of a singular note or a singular flavor.
Compared to this, it is.
Right, and then
It's almost you're getting 1/6 of what this is.
then this is more of a symphony. There's all
It's
kinds of things going on.
Yes.
Still good. But and honestly you'd probably lose appreciation for this if you drank it every day.
Well, at that price point, you would. Not going to take that long. So, you got a rating?
Oh, geez.
This is gonna rate really, really
Go
high for me.
8.8 on the nose, like 9.6 on the palate, and then like 9.2 on the finish, which is for me to like it and to have that level of disparity is odd.
It is odd combo for you.
But I really...
you like things to
I
flow.
like it to be kind of smooth, or consistent across the elements. But the palate is just so good.
Palate is phenomenal.
Which is rare, actually.
Well, I don't think I've ever heard you say 9.6 out of your
On
mouth
anything.
ever. On
anything.
I've known you for a long time. I don't think you've ever said 9.6 on anything. Finish, nose, palate, regardless.
No, probably not.
I like you on the 8.8. I'm not far from your 9.6. I don't like to go that high. It's just I'm gonna go 9.5 on that.
Well, okay. All right.
We're gonna
split hairs there.
The audience is laughing at me as we speak. Well, what the hell's the difference, Tom? But I'm gonna go 9.4 on the finish, so I'm a little higher on the finish for you. This finish, especially for 80 proof, does a really good job of lingering on your palate.
And for me, it might just be the palate. It just gets me so much that I'm not really noticing the finish.
Yeah, well, and maybe you just want to go right back to the palate.
I do. I'm struggling to keep the glass on the counter. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Generally, an 80 proof whiskey doesn't linger very long.
No, much more to dissipate.
You need the proof in order for it to hang out on your taste buds longer. For an 80 proof whiskey, this is hanging out on my tongue much longer than I would have ever expected it. So that's why I'm at that 8.4 on the finish. It's got a really good finish. I'm giving credit to that.
And it has it's like a candied finish.
A little bit.
Like your
sugared coated raisins.
yes, like you're sucking on a hard candy kind of thing. That
Yes.
kind of,
Well, that's why I kind of went to that fruit roll-up.
Yeah.
That fruit roll-up, clearly we all know it's got a lot of sugar in it, right? But that darker fruit roll-up that just kind of like lingered in your mouth a little bit. Mm-hmm. I'm getting a little bit of that here.
Yeah.
Obviously a much better and more pricier version of said fruit roll-up.
Yes.
But that's... I love it when I get a recall from my childhood.
Yeah, so you're picking up a lot of all the different types of grapes that went into all those different wines that this got, and some of those flavors are coming through. Maybe some of those tannins coming through.
Would you buy it?
I think I've splurged. I don't know if I've splurged for $400.
I think you've gone more than 400 a couple times.
Maybe.
But it's pushing the limits. I know.
It is pushing the limits. For the right event.
Okay.
Right? I'd have to have a reason. So if there's the right opportunity to share a good bottle, then I'd pay the money for it.
Okay. But in that regard, I guess what you're saying is no regrets here.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, I paid for it. Of course you didn't have regrets.
There are other things I might, at that range, that I would say I'd want to own and have available.
Yes.
I don't know, say that this might not be it.
Got it.
Only because I probably want the experience to be a little stronger.
Well, yeah.
Really good, but some things you buy because the experience is memorable.
Yes. Yep. And you're not sure that's...
Yeah, it's really drinkable. It's super good, but if I want to show something off, so I want to show them a little pop sometimes.
This really, really hits a grand slam if your buddy's getting married and the boys are pitching in, and this is a wedding, not necessarily a wedding gift because you want to share it with them, but a wedding experience, be it that bachelor night or toast at the wedding.
If you've got a crowd that you're not certain everyone is necessarily a Scotch fan,
they'll like this. They'll like this,
right?
Yes,
if I'm going to spend the money, I might be spending the money for something only real Scotch fans would want to go after at this point.
Yes, but if you wanted to kind of share it for that, unique experience, few guys pitch in on this, share it. This is a home run hit for that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. That was excellent.
Yeah, I figured. I knew you were gonna like this one. I was looking forward to sharing it. So cool. Appreciate it.
How long have you had that? You remember?
Nah, I've got it probably 4 years now.
That's some restraint right there.
Yeah.
It was mostly full.
I know. I had my sip.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to find the right moments.
Yes.
You know, you don't just drink nice whiskey to drink nice whiskey. You find the moment. You find the person to share it with.
That's important.
It is.
It's important. And not only share it, but appreciate it.
Yes.
At least for me. Like I want to share things with people that will appreciate the experience.
Quick story, then I'm going to run offset here.
All right.
I had somebody come in, and I asked them right off the bat, "Oh, you like Scotch?" "Yes, I like Scotch." "Oh, let me pour you something nice." I poured him a Belveni Caribbean cask, valued about $90 or $100. Gave him a little bit in the glass, and he took that glass and he shot it straight. And internally, I'm like, "You're getting vodka from now on. That's it. You're off."
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a sad story.
Yes.
And I'm going to leave on that.
All right. Cheers.
Good times.